your farm. Performance on your acres is what really matters. That's why Dyna-Gro Seed offers a growing portfolio of hybrids and varieties to meet the specific needs of your local area and conditions, and delivers consistent performance year over year. And when you pair it with the support of your dedicated local Nutrient Ag Solutions crop consultant, you'll discover firsthand how Dyna-Gro Seed can bring you the results you want on your farm. Try Dyna-Gro Seed and see for yourself how local insights can lead to local results. For consistent performance year over year, no other seed brand gets you closer than Dyna-Gro Seed. To book your seed today, connect with your local crop consultant or head to your nearest Nutrient Ag Solutions retail location or visit dynagroseed.com to learn more. Dyna-Gro Seed, at home on any acre.
It's 8 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Friday morning. Top of the morning from the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com. I'm Seth Lawrence with this expanded local newscast brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, and the morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Beacon Insurance agent in Clinton. In a partnership with Constellation Energy, DeWitt County will be doing away with the severe weather sirens in place of a more modern system. At the Thursday night DeWitt County Board meeting, DeWitt County EMA Director Micah Gallardo explained the idea would be to reach the public through notifications on a mobile device or a home phone number.
So yeah, we're here to talk about today the Constellation's new project that's going to be taking place, the alert and notification system upgrade that will be rolling out. The overall goal of this is to update local public alert and warning systems with modern communication technologies within the county. Some benefits we're going to see with this is we're going to utilize more modern day technologies. It's going to reach the transit population as they travel through the county. And we're also going to remove the sirens from the power plant plan that we deal with, and that's strictly the sirens right now are only an outdoor warning system, and they're very high cost. So the idea is to make iPods, which we currently have, which is similar to those Amber Alerts and presidential alerts that you get on your phone. We have access to that. Tony has access to that. So that will be the primary system. And then Everbridge is going to be the backup. And that system will provide easy to use templates for pre-scripted emergency alerts. So we're going to be able to take it and send it directly to phones. And also it's going to be geocoded. So it'll be connected to any house, or the phone number connected to that house. So any numbers that are connected to that house will be able to receive that message. And there's also going to be an opt-in option where you can add additional communication, such as email address fax, additional phone numbers. You can select a preferred language, special needs information, household information, and other information is needed. We'd like to get this started going now so we can get ahead of it, address it to the public, start handing out brochures. So yeah, it's the project we want to get going.
According to DeWitt County CENTCOM Director Tony Harris, the move saves money for both Constellation and DeWitt County.
There's a reason why they're moving to more modern technology, but they also mentioned in the meeting it's going to be a cost-saving measure for them. If we buy them or if they donate them, then we're going to be on the hook. The county is going to be on the hook for that expense, and there's a reason why they're doing that. So, there's that option, but it's not going to be cheap. And, I'm totally behind this project. What I do, I manage the office, CENTCOM. We activate the sirens during the nuclear events and storm or tornado warnings. We activate the sirens, which this is going to take a little bit of the load off of us because it's going to be more automated. And another thing I wanted to bring up is they're going to provide another system called Everbridge that we could use locally. That could replace our local system now, HyperReach, saving us $4,500 a year, I think, that's paid out of the CENTCOM budget. So it's saving them money. It's also saving us some money. They're going to give us that ability to use that Everbridge mass communication system. Right now, because it's through CENTCOM, we allow different municipalities to use it. Farmer City, the City of Clinton. The City of Clinton used it for water boil events. We continue to be able to use that. So I'm in total support of it. I just think we need to get ahead of it, and we need to let the public know, and they probably got more information to share, but if I can answer any other question.
Will that also,
I know the system that we have, it can be used internally for employees. We used it a time or two for when we closed the county building. We used that for staff at the courthouse, county staff, and I assume that's the same. They'll still allow us to use it like that if we.
Harris adds the current siren system also creates some confusion because anytime a siren has to be activated, every siren in the county is activated. But with a geocoded system, only those in the impacted area would receive a notification.
We do have issues with the current sirens now. With most of you know that when you set the siren off for a tornado warning, it goes off countywide, which creates a lot of confusion for the county. With this system, it would automatically be set up. It'd be integrated with the National Weather Service, and the Weather Service now will put out a geocode area, and then this system will only notify the folks that are in that system or have a house or residence in that geocoded area.
Harris and Gallardo stress if you do not have a cell phone and still rely on your home phone, those notices would reach you via your home phone. Bust out those Halloween costumes a week early and join the folks at the Weldon Springs Foundation for a special event this Saturday at the schoolhouse at Weldon Springs State Park. Patty Kinder with the foundation explains from 1 to 3 p.m. this Saturday, they'll have fun and games at the schoolhouse for kids of all ages.
Basically, it's geared towards 3 through 10-year-olds, but everybody's welcome. We're going to have crafts, refreshments, a goodie bag to take home, and also some games. It's our second annual. A lot of people last year came, stayed for a while, left. Then we had new people come in. So it'll all be set up from 1 to 3.
Mm-hmm.
When you come, you get to enjoy everything. Last year, I think we ran out of cookies. We had everything going. We're going to have relay races for the kids.
Okay.
And last year, everything worked out really well where the older kids helped out the younger kids.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you have, like I said, it's geared to 3 through 10-year-olds, but we had some younger kids coming. We had some kids that were a little bit older. Everybody worked out really great. This is kind of like an old-fashioned Halloween party. They will happen all throughout the time.
This weekend's Halloween event is the unofficial mark to the end of the season at the Springs. Kinder indicates they will have a Christmas party in December. We'll have more on that next month here on Regional Radio News. But again, the Foundation's Halloween party is from 1 to 3 p.m. at the schoolhouse this Saturday. The Wall Street Journal recently highlighted data from the Illinois report card, which is set to be updated again in just another few weeks. But this particular report highlighted specific data out of Decatur. Shocking would just be the start of the revelations that were highlighted by a non-profit publication earlier this summer that discovered, among a host of data points, only 2% of Black third graders are reading at grade level and 1% are doing math at grade level in Decatur Public Schools. On the WHOW Morning Show Thursday, State Senator Chapin Rose says Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker has failed the students of Illinois.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Wall Street Journal rightly pointed out that education in Illinois is a disaster. And, they sort of picked on Decatur as the poster child, but, you could apply that same metric to virtually any of these urban, school districts. They just don't. It's maybe about the best way to say it. And, a combination of things. But I will tell you this, look, school districts are local operations, but who you have at the top of the state in terms of a governor that was appointed to the State Board of Education sort of leads that direction, particularly for the more urban areas. Our Governor Pritzker, has absolutely failed the kids of this state when he, kept schools closed, for an extra year, kept people in virtual learning for an extra year beyond what, any of our neighboring states and most of the country was doing during COVID. The learning loss is extreme. And yet, his State Board of Education is more preoccupied with making sure that kindergartners get sex education than they are with making sure that they can read. Look, the results show, right? When you're spending all your times running around doing anything other than reading, writing, and arithmetic, why would you expect the kids to actually be able to read? And of course, that's what the Wall Street Journal study was showing, or that wasn't a study, but they just went to the state report cards and, across the state, reading, writing, it's math, it's terrible.
In a recent debate where the gubernatorial challenger Darren Bailey brought the data up, Governor Pritzker called the publication that first brought the findings to light a right-wing carnival barker. Senator Rose says it's a classic progressive liberalism where instead of disputing the facts, they call names.
No, I mean, this is classic progressive liberalism. When they can't dispute the facts, they just call names, right? And they have, across the board, liberalism has failed. It just has absolutely failed. And, you're now looking at 3 and 4 generations of handouts. Was it any wonder that no one can actually do for themselves? It's really awful. Think about that. Everybody listening, think about that for a minute. In the meantime, my kid's school district has replaced To Kill a Mockingbird, which teaches the common virtue of standing up for your fellow man, and is replaced with cop killers and abortion. Well, where's the virtue in that? Where's the virtue in that? That's what's replaced the curriculums in our schools today. And, it's just, you've got a whole generation. There's the other thing that isn't being discussed. You have a whole generation of parents who are just pulled their kids out and are either homeschooling or going to private schools. And, that's pretty dangerous for democracy. When you move everybody, when you have people self-segregating into different buckets, then, where's the unified bucket? Right?
Getting deeper into the curriculum, the Muhammad Republican calls the Common Core an abject disaster, which was brought to K-12 education by people in higher education.
This whole Common Core experiment that was brought to us by, the good folks in higher education is an abject disaster, right? It's just a total failure. And I'm glad that you pointed out that the study was done before COVID, because that really puts the change 10 years ago to go to Common Core academic standards in the spotlight, and proves that it's been a disaster. And I'll tell you something else. I'm at the point now where if all the PhD people in higher ed come out and say, hey, your school needs to do this today to fix it, I would basically advise my school to do the exact opposite. Because every time these guys have shown up with some bright idea, it's made it worse.
Yeah.
We're taking every school district in Illinois and treating it as if it's the Chicago public school system, and that just doesn't work. It's clear that it doesn't work. By every metric you can imagine, it's just failing. And, again, you go talk to the people that JV's put on the State Board of Education, the state superintendent of schools. And, she's more worried about, diversity and equity and inclusion than she is about making sure that kids can actually read and write no matter where they're from, no matter what their background, no matter what their cultural background. How about we make sure kids can read, write, and that 2 + 2 = 4, and then we can worry about all that other stuff. Because as long as only 2% of kids in the Decatur can read, all that other stuff doesn't matter. The only chance for those kids to get out of poverty is
to be educated. Yeah. Senator Rose says there was a time people looked to the experts to have answers that made things better, but that is no longer the case. He believes when the experts are not making things better, it's time to replace the experts. It is 21 minutes after the hour here on this Friday morning. More to get to coming your way on the WHOW Morning Show.
Are you a friend of agriculture? This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton. We're giving a $500 Friends of Ag discount to anyone that orders a new Chevrolet or Buick to be built just for you this month. Are you a friend of ag? You are if you're a member of any ag organization employed by any ag-related business, including research, inputs, manufacturing, sales, and marketing, and of course, ag education. Come in, order yours today. BaumChevyBuick.com, right from the start.
It is 22 minutes after the hour here on this Friday. Again, coverage of news brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, and the morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. The state's first cannabis infuser is open in Pekin. The operation received one of the state's 48 social equity licenses. The woman and veteran-owned business will make marijuana-based edibles, says owner Allison Drees.
We're going to offer a lot of different types of cookies, some sweet tart type candies and mints.
The operation currently has 17 employees and is expected to expand hiring as the business grows. Just as farmers are putting their final touches on the harvest season, another crisis is hurting the grain export industry. Coupled with high diesel prices and a possible railroad strike, farmers are now facing a rapidly drying Mississippi River. Kurt Kimmel is a hedging strategist at agmarket.net.
That's a great question, and that's huge. I think we're seeing some of the lowest levels in the river in history and through here, and it was so low that barge traffic stopped, got hung up on some areas there. They had to dredge under the barges to free them up to get them to move. We're looking at some one-way traffic. When you look at the barge traffic, that is the river system where we send a lot of grain down the river to the Gulf for export. And that's a huge part of the export business to get that grain out of the Gulf. And when we see low water levels, what happens is we can't load those barges as heavy or as full as we did before, because the heavier you load it, the lower the barge goes down to the water level, and the draft, you just don't have that capability anymore. So we're only able to put about 2/3 of a load on a barge to try to get it down the river system. The river system is the most effective transportation system we have. When you look at a barge, you can put about, 80,000 bushels in a barge. When you look at the alternative train, those train cars are a little smaller. So if you get enough barges connected together, you can move about 750, 800,000 bushels of grain down the river, whereas a train car, you're talking about 350,000 bushels. So you move a lot of grain, and it's very efficient, and it's a good choice. But what's that bid? The river bid's just gone to almost zero, because to ship grain down the river, we're looking at all-time historically highs, the cost of movement to move that grain down the river. And it's become uneconomical here this fall. They are a little optimistic. If we can get some rain, get the river a little higher, we can move some grain down that system here, maybe towards year end.
According to Kimmel, if the U.S. does not get grain, exporters would need to rely on the trucking industry more this year compared to years past. He reports a train of barges can hold around 800,000 bushels of grain, but they are being forced to fill the barges less than halfway to keep them from running aground. The Illinois Emergency Management Agency is marking the one-year anniversary of the state's Safe to Help program for students. In its first year, the Safe to Help line received nearly 900 messages from students concerned about a variety of issues, says IEMA's school safety policy advisor, Samantha Canish. She says the most reported problem is bullying,
followed by drugs, which does include vaping, as well as suicidal ideation as reported by another student. But we have seen other reports come through the helpline, such as fighting, sexual assault, and even planned school attacks.
She stresses the Safe to Help line is confidential.
If a student makes the option to provide their name and contact information, we are not sharing that with anybody except for those trusted adults at the school or district level that can help resolve that issue or that struggle that is occurring.
Moving forward, Canish says they want to emphasize the Safe to Help line is available to all students, including those in private and charter schools. There are 5 ways to reach the service, including online at safe2helpil.com. That's safe2helpil.com. The Illinois Department of Public Health is reminding that assistance is available for those who can't afford breast cancer screenings. The Illinois Breast Cancer and Cervical Cancer Program provides free breast exams and mammograms to uninsured and underinsured women. The Public Health Department's Felicia Curtis says a variety of services are offered.
Enrolling you in the program gets you into a case management situation where you're helped to schedule your appointments and you're navigated through that screening process. And then you're taken through any diagnostic work that has to happen. And then you're referred on to treatment.
Curtis reminds mammograms should be done annually.
It's a every year cycle for your breast. And then you have risk factors that we assess to see if we need to have you come any more frequently.
The program also offers free cervical cancer screenings and Pap tests. You can learn more online at dph.illinois.gov. The Better Business Bureau says responding to a phony bank text message could cost you thousands. One of scammers' favorite tactics is impersonating a person or organization you know and trust. That's the premise of a new text message scam, which has been popping up in recent scam tracker reports. This time, con artists are impersonating your bank. Better Business Bureau's Jessica Tharp says it all starts with you responding to that text that you think is from your bank, credit union, or lender.
So the latest one, they're impersonating your bank, and consumers are reporting and banks are reporting text messages being sent out even with the caller ID matching that of their bank or of a local bank. And the text indicates that there's been some kind of fraud or some kind of alert. They're asking you, did you approve a transaction? And the text instructs you to text back yes or no. So that's step one of the scam. One, when you reply yes or no, you're confirming that the phone number they've used is active.
Tharp says the best solution is just ignore the text message. And if you can, block the number. If you spot a scam, report it to the BBB Scam Tracker. Your report can help others avoid falling victim to similar scams. It is 29 minutes after the hour here on this Friday morning. Coverage of news brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, and the morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Network News is now.
With SRN News, I'm Jeremy House in Washington. The General